Thank you very much. Good evening. I would like to call the Monday, January 23rd Board of Education meeting to order. And thank you for waiting a couple minutes for us to get organized. And I would like you at this time to ask you to join us for a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. If you would now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now we'll have Director Schmidt read our mission statement.
The Waterloo Schools community commits to a comprehensive system of education and support to assure that each and every student will graduate prepared for college, career, and citizenship, as evidenced by continuing education, pursuing a career, and contributing to a community.
Thank you, Lyle. Now we'll move on to our agenda. Exhibit B is a partnership recognition with Becker Elementary School. We have Aqui and Abby, I believe, the lead teacher at Becker here. And if there's anyone else, I'll kind of read the background. Becker Elementary School is pleased to welcome Vine Valley Real Estate and Three Pines Farm to their Partners in Education program. Becker's current partners include Maple Lanes and Monster Cookies and more. Partner representatives will be here to welcome Vine Valley Real Estate and Three Pines as they join this Partner in Education program. So we'll give it to you, Aqui.
Thank you so much. Here we go. Can you hear me yet? Yeah? Okay. Thank you so much. And so Vine Valley Real Estate is a partner in education with Becker Elementary School. As you all know, the Partners in Ed program is just so important to Waterloo schools, and we are so thankful for the organizations that join us in this capacity. Three Pines Farm. So I'm going to hand this one to Vine Valley Real Estate representative. Thank you. And Three Pines Farm.
She's not able to make it. So
Okay, all right. I'm gonna let you know that, and then we'll hear from them. So thank you.
Perfect.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Edita Begic, and I'm the owner of Vine Valley Real Estate. And 25 years ago, I came to the Cedar Valley as a refugee from Bosnia, and I hardly spoke any English. And I remember back to my elementary days, which was Jewett Elementary. I don't know how many of you remember Jewett. And there were phenomenal teachers who inspired me, who protected me, and who really cared about me. And that was one of the reasons that inspired me to become a partner in education with Becker. And I look forward to partnering with them for a successful future and working with these amazing ladies. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, we want to thank you very much for that. It's just amazing to hear your story, and would like to hear more about it, how you traveled through the system and the school system.
I was going to say I am a Waterloo grad. Go Wahawks!
Yeah.
So I went to Jewett, and then I went to West Middle, which also closed. So I was on a trend there. And then went to West and loved my time there. And then off to UNI. So Cedar Valley has been home for 25 years.
Perfect.
So yeah, the Waterloo education definitely prepared me for where I am today.
Super. We're so glad to hear
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Go ahead.
I was just going to share, Kara Grupp, who runs Three Pines Farm, amazing person, so I just have to give a shout out to them. We're super excited to work with her. She's actually started as a folk school, her farm area. So it's been a really interesting time just getting to know her and her mission. So we're super excited about that, along with adding Vine Valley Real Estate to Becker.
Awesome. Well, please extend our thanks to her too, and tell her sometime we'd like to meet her. So
Will do.
awesome. Thank you very much.
Do you want the formal picture?
Okay, we will keep Aqui up here and ask Byron Phillips to come also. We do have another partnership recognition with West High School, and this is Scooters Coffee has joined the PIE program at West High School, and their current partners are the OP on Ridgeway, John Deere, Hope City Church, and people are here from some of the organizations, so go ahead, Aqui.
Thank you. Anyone who knows me well knows that I just can't operate on any given day without a robust amount of coffee, almost always from Scooters. So it's a wonderful pleasure to just welcome Scooters to be a partner in Ed with West High, and we'll hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. My background is I'm originally from California, and I just wanted something smaller, something for my family, somewhere safe, and I picked Iowa and originally went to Decorah, so I've been here for 11 years, so getting used to the winters finally. And Decorah showed me community, because in California, everybody doesn't know their names. It's just, I want personable. So with Decorah, I wanted to make that connection, so I got right involved there, and then missed the city a little bit, so that's why I came down to the Cedar Valley and landed at Scooters. I'm the manager there, and went over to West and dropped coffee and cinnamon rolls over there, and then started developing a relationship, and Byron got a hold of me and said, let's do this, and I said, yes, let's do this. So I'm excited to partner with them and help them out in any way that we can.
Super. We are so glad to welcome you aboard, and I think there's lots of coffee drinkers at West High and in the neighborhood up here. So cinnamon rolls and coffee are welcome anytime.
Yay. Thank you.
Okay. And our next exhibit is item C, and this is another board celebration, but it's National School Counseling Week, and we have Donna Kittrick and Amy Schmidt here, and I'll get the recommendation on the table first. The superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education acknowledge February 6th through 10th, 2023 as National School Counseling Week in the Waterloo schools and sign the associated proclamation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I will read the proclamation now, and then we will have you two ladies come up and answer any of our questions. So the proclamation is on beautiful yellow colored paper, so it looks nice. Whereas school counselors are employed in public and private schools to help students reach their full potential, and whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development. And whereas school counselors help parents focus on ways to further the educational, personal, and social growth of their children. And whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves. And whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society. And whereas comprehensive developmental school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational process that enables all students to achieve success in schools. Therefore, I, Sue Flynn, and the Waterloo Community School Board proclaim February 6th to the 10th, 2023 as National School Counseling Week.
Good evening. We just want to take this opportunity. I'm Amy Schmidt, K-12 Career Development Director, and my right-hand pocket here.
I'm Donna Kittrick, and I'm the mental health coordinator for the district.
This year in particular, previously I was a building principal and I've been in Waterloo schools for 23 years, and I definitely am being challenged in a very different way this year in this new position, and I've had the honor and the privilege to work with all of our K-12 counselors. And I'll tell you what, we have 3 who are here right now from West High, so I'm going to real quick, if you could just wave your hand. We have Miss Marsha Waters, we have Miss Brooke Hoddle and her cutie, who's on our lab, and Jess Wass, who's with us today. And we just really want to take the opportunity to celebrate all the work that they do day in and day out. As you could hear from the proclamation, our counselors are challenged in numerous ways day in and day out, and I know that we couldn't do the work that we do without them, but super grateful to partner with them and learn from them as well, but also want to recognize them officially February 6th through the 10th. The theme is helping our kids dream big. So we've done some partnerships with our WCC students, and they're creating a t-shirt that we will be delivering to all of them that week. We also are partners with in hospitality with Talia, and also in our culinary, Tracy Helm. They're creating lunches for all of our K-12 counselors. So we're going to deliver those as well, along with a little goodie bag just to show some recognition for the work that they do. So grateful for our students at the WCC helping us out and staff, but also for the work that our counselors do every day. So thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. And are there any comments from the board that they'd like to?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, all 3 of my kids have 504s, and so there's been a lot of interaction that's been necessary all the way through for them, but especially in high school. And so I don't know where any of them would be if not for the counseling department and how they were able to benefit for it. I don't know if I would have known how to help them the way that I do. One he just graduated from college. So these things, they matter all the time, and being able to see this makes my heart happy. So thank you.
And I just want to thank all the counselors too, because it's a thankless job sometimes, and I know you guys work really, really hard, as does all of our staff, but you just get lots of hats thrown at you and lots of curveballs thrown at you, and I know my kids had Marcia at the time, so that was good at West, and Brooke is such a hard worker, and Marcia too. So thank you so much for all that you do for our kiddos. And I thought it was how ironic with the week being helping dream big and the Waterloo campaign of being bold, you know. So to be bold, we can dream really big. So I just thank you for helping kids be bold and dream big. So.
And we've kind of added to the complexity of the job by having so many careers that are available, so that the counselors have to become familiar with and know the kids and match them up according to their interests and needs and aptitudes. So, you know, it's a good thing we have so many choices, but it's harder for the counselors to sort them out. So we really appreciate your work.
Okay, all in favor of recognizing February 6th through 10th as School Counselor Week, please state aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, none opposed, carries 6-0. Thank you guys very much. Okay, the next item on our agenda tonight is information from individuals and delegations. This is an opportunity where those who wish to address the school board may do so. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and Mrs. Arndorfer will hold up a yellow card when you have 30 seconds remaining and a red card when your time has expired. At that time, I will ask you to conclude your public remarks. Please also keep your comments respectful and constructive. We are all here with the goal of trying to help our students. Please also avoid criticizing the job performance of specific employees of the school district. Personnel matters are confidential and must be handled through proper channels and not in a public forum. Finally, we provide this as an opportunity for public comment, but it is generally not a back and forth discussion, especially of items that are not on our agenda. At times, we will try to help if we can with information before or after this meeting, but we have to proceed with our board meeting agenda items. With that, I invite anyone in the audience tonight who wishes to address the board to please come forward and start by stating your name and your home address, and make sure the green light is on.
Hello, Lisa Jurgensen, 2157 Touche Street, Waterloo. And I apologize, I did not register to speak because I was not planning on speaking publicly tonight. But after what occurred at my child's school today, I felt like I had no choice. I've emailed many of you on the board about the situation at my child's school, and it continues to escalate. I have followed the process of meeting with my child's teacher, the principal, another administrator, and I've spoken with a council person on the phone, and I don't feel like things are getting resolved. It's a safety issue in my child's classroom. Today alone, he was sent out of the classroom 5 times for safety, and this today was the 5th clear the classroom of the year, where students are evacuated out of the classroom because it is an unsafe situation. And I'm here today to just ask you to please, I'm advocating for my son and all of the other students in his class. They're being traumatized. This is causing them PTSD. Nearly every day, the door is locked in their room to keep children from coming in, children that are having behavioral issues. And while I sympathize and I know that they need extra support, that I'm advocating for the other 23 children in the classroom. It is terrible what is happening in that class. Chairs getting thrown, children getting hit. My child's been verbally threatened. He's had books thrown off of his desk. Teachers have been hit. Administrators have been hit. And it is time for us to say enough is enough. And I have had contact with other parents in the class, and I am informally speaking for everybody because we just don't know what to do anymore. Who's advocating for the kids in that class to ensure that they are getting the safe, conducive learning environment that they're entitled to? That's the first bullet in the student parent handbook, that students are entitled to a safe, drug-free environment conducive to learning. And they absolutely 100% are not getting that in the classroom that they're in this year. That's all I have.
Thank you very much for your comments, and we will have appropriate people get a hold of you. And I appreciate you emailing. I think we all have gotten emails, and I appreciate that. And I know they are following protocol, yet I understand your concerns. So, okay. Is there anybody else that would like to speak tonight to the board? Don't be shy.
I'm Melissa Tate, 225 Bismarck Avenue in Waterloo. And I'm here with a bunch of my colleagues from East High, and I didn't prepare anything, but I just wanted you to notice that we're here and that we appreciate your support in what we're doing, and we hope to continue to get it. We've done, as a staff and administration, with the support of the district administration, we've made some changes that are making things better, and we hope to continue improving the culture and climate at East High. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I like to put a positive spin on the way things are moving, and thank you for your support, and let's hope we can keep moving in that direction, and I'll let other people speak if they have opinions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any of her colleagues?
She put you on the spot.
Yeah. Going once, twice. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate having all of you here tonight and attending our board meeting, because it shows that you have interest. So we appreciate that. Thank you. Next item on our agenda tonight is a consent agenda, and tonight it consists of 3 items. Item D, which is the minutes of the January 9th, 2023 regular board meeting. Item E, which is personnel appointments and adjustments. And item F, bills due and payable and bills paid between board meetings. And I will comment tonight, there are 3 or 4 board meeting members' names on the pay list. That was for our travel and trip to the convention in November. So if anyone is questioning, I believe Stacy, Lyle, and Astor, and Astor may have been there for his refereeing also. So that is on the bills due and payable tonight. So are there any items board members would like to have removed? Okay.
Is the personnel adjustments, is that the new one or the one in the book?
It is the new one that we were given tonight. There was one minor change. There was one situation that is requesting a hearing. So that was all. That was just, a name was removed because they're requesting a hearing versus just having them on the
So
list tonight.
do we need to clarify that at all in the motion? or not?
I don't think we do.
The motion would still be the same, and this will go into our official board agenda will be the corrected one that came tonight.
All right.
So I think the change was made prior to us acting on it. So I think that is okay. So all in favor of approving the consent agenda as stated?
We have motion to set it up?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So are you all okay with the consent agenda? Okay. Could we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried 6-0. That doesn't happen very often. They were good tonight, right, Chair? Okay. The next item is item G, which is the curriculum adoption for high school instrumental music. And the superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education approve the curriculum purchase for the high school instrumental music as outlined.
So moved.
Second.
And we will love to hear from Travis tonight.
Hey, thanks. So in the exhibit or the wow, this is not my first rodeo, and I'm clearly doing really well already. So you'll notice in the board minutes we have the curriculum review process went down for high school instrumental music, much like all the other music programs. We've noticed no formal adoption had been done. That Pam and I think, scouring through records, we've learned, I think a lot of things were adopted and just made common knowledge, and we're just trying to codify it to make things more universal between the buildings. So worked with high school instrumental music teachers, so band and orchestra, to go through the national and state adopted standards of creating, performing, responding, and connecting, recognizing the performance schedules of those public performances, and recognizing that you're not going to hit everything all the time because you have an obligation to your students and your community to perform. So we went through and determined where are the logical places to have things like creating, which are composing, whatever that looks like, and that's not always the easiest area for us to hit because of those performance expectations. But you'll notice in the request, much like the middle school experience, instead of using Smart Music, that online virtual platform for assessment, the band program at the high school level has asked to adopt music first. I worked with them to do an 8-year bundle. We'll pay one time and we'll be golden, knowing that we can always add seats on that platform based on that rate that we received before. That specific rate I can't speak to because it was bundled and I don't have that form with me tonight. So if that's requested, I can totally get that tomorrow morning. Then we have some requests for other non-consumables, one-time expenses, such as instruments, also just music, like having, there's a lot more differentiation that occurs at a high school level after you've already imagine kind of this rooted system where everyone's kind of going along the same path, and then we branch off. And so to acknowledge students' diverse needs of instrumentation, the programs decided to get books that meet those student needs. We are asking for an annual commitment to purchase. You might be familiar with marching band, and if you've ever participated in a marching band or been a parent of a marching band child, you will know that there are hours spent on the field, in the band room, anywhere that you can find practice space, as well as having a marching band show that encompasses the performer, like the instrumentalist, but also flag corps and other folks. Recognizing that there's some that's a curricular event, and so we are asking for some support there with roughly, I think it was $1,250 per building for their marching band music for their show, recognizing that that's more of a static number than perhaps writing your drill and stuff like that. It's a very complex issue, and I think we all kind of know that. Other things that we're asking for support with would be percussion materials like drumsticks. If any of you have taught a percussionist, they break. They're expected to last for 8 years. That's probably not going to happen. So I am using brevity to just say it'd be great to have, you'll notice, a one-time purchase of $56,178.70, which I've noticed Michael and Jeff are very surprised when I'm very exact. And then some annual purchases in which we would work with, I'm spacing her name, Curricular Warehouse. Joan. The rock star that Joan is would help with ordering, and I would do the same, probably with the help of Candace up in the curriculum office. I do have some representatives here from East High, Joelle Smith and band, Kyle Giese in orchestra, and West High band, Jason Dobbs is in the back. And I'm going to call them up here because I'm assuming that they're going to get some questions asked. Any questions while they're making their way up here?
On this annual amount, even though it's relatively small, are we voting for it in perpetuity?
I've only heard perpetuity used in like an actor's regard, and so I would very much appreciate a layman's definition.
Forever.
Thank you. So what I would say, instead of forever, maybe for the next 8 years, and then we'll look at our life and our choices and determine what's the best step moving forward.
Should that be identified in the motion? I mean, it seems kind of open-ended here. Just says annual purchase.
Oh, I mean, it would equate to $2,548, so that'd be a stuck.
So that would just be 1 year then, the $1,250 for each school and the
And the 48 for each.
for 48 for each school?
No,
or-
For the
48 is all I had for
percussion.
one.
Okay. So the money that we're forwarding for marching band here, this motion only gives it once, 1 year, or?
No, that would be, so it'd be $2,548 annually for the purchase of a marching band show for each building and some sticks.
For the next 8 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So that costs annually.
That's a tiny drop in the bucket of what marching band costs, but
Yep.
it's helpful. Thank
Yep.
you, it's helpful.
It is, but
We could certainly do a friendly amendment to that motion to outline exactly what the one-time cost is, and then
For
An
8
additional
years,
yearly-
we could just add for 8
Sure.
years.
This music is their textbook for the fall, so the more music and the more quality, the more money we spend on it, the better quality we get, the more teachable it is, the more it helps them with their learning of their instruments, and the more entertaining it is for the audience, the better.
Yeah, and I
the more
think,
fair it is for
Well,
both
it does
buildings,
state
too, then.
8-year bundle. Is that separate, or Dr.
so
Smith pointed
one is
out
the technology purchase, and that would be for an 8-year bundle for the length of the curricular cycle. And then the instructional supplies, so books, certain sticks that are not included on the annual price, and instruments, that is a one-time cost of $38,507.20 for East and West bands. And then orchestra instrument costs are $4,800. So the one-time purchase is the curricular, it is the technology cost, and it is the instruments, and then there's the annual cost of the marching band show and those sticks. Recognizing too, we know that we can't be everything to everyone in that moment, and so recognizing like this is, as Janelle, you said, like a small drop in the bucket, recognizing that our programs are still going to have access to their instructional supplies accounts and instrument repairs and all of those
Yep,
things.
yep, yep. There's no limit to what you can spend on these programs, and I
Nope.
think our directors do a great job of doing a lot with little, but the more that we get them, the better it's going to
Yep.
be.
And
Am
so
I
if we can
missing where the-
offset those costs.
Am I missing the 4,800? Is that,
Look at the new,
that's the one I'm looking at, but it's not put in with the one-time purchase. It's the 38, it's the East Band one-time cost, 38,000, plus the, the Music First thing, so you get the 56, and then there's the annual purchase, but I don't see the 48 mixed, added in.
So,
Am I reading it right?
With the
No, I see it up here.
No,
I
it's
was
totally
looking at
there, but
total.
it's
Oh,
not
okay.
in the total.
Right.
I'm very sorry about the oversight there.
No, I just didn't know if I was
no, no.
looking at it.
No,
My
you're
brain
looking at it
looking at it
correctly.
correctly.
It was me
Yep.
who made the error. Terribly sorry.
Okay.
So that actually would be another
48.
$4,800 on that.
Right.
As a one-time purchase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so we
Correct.
got 2 one-time purchases, well, 3 one-time purchases, 38 for band, 4,800 for orchestra, and 17,000 for Music First,
Yes.
plus
2,500.
8 years of 2,500 and I don't know how many
48.
sticks.
As many as you want. There are all different kinds of mallets.
Is that
But
going to be
wouldn't the-
sufficient for 8 years, you
yeah.
think, the 25, like,
So
I mean, I don't know how much inflation is on
That's my
music.
question. Is that, do you want to?
Do you want to reevaluate it?
I'm always in favor of giving more. A typical boxed
Right.
marching band show is between $2,000 and $50,000, as much as you want to spend for a writer. But you can spend as much money as you want on marching band. This is really a drop in the bucket, but I
Right.
don't want to hold everything. I mean,
Well, yeah, I'm just saying it, because in 8 years, that might not buy much.
Yeah, that's what I'm
oh,
saying,
for
like,
sure. I think that
but they have. This is in addition to their budget.
what we're also trying to do is probably normalize the practice as it's a curricular event, making sure that that is not hindering their annual budgets.
Could we potentially put an up to amount, like up to 3,500 or 3,000 per year, up to, so that would
I'm
cover?
never going to tell you no about that. I just want to say that out front and for the TV audience at home. Yeah, I think we can. So would we just work on an amendment to this formal?
Yes, we
And
can
this-
just, we can amend it up here, including the annual up to amount for the, I guess we'd call that the marching band show, and we could just separate them out. Could we?
So how much can you give?
So for those of you in marching band, and you all can speak to it too, there are multiple purchases that occur. So this is really to cover the music in particular, not the drill and not the
Costumes. Yeah.
all the other things y'all bring to the community via this method. I'm going to step away and I'm going to ask the professionals what the healthy amount is. I taught middle school band.
Just one clarification here. Will this actually reduce some of the fundraising burdens onto the booster clubs and different supporters for the band, or is that still going to remain the same?
I would definitely hope so. Joelle?
So, part of our budget is where the music comes from. Everything that we spend out of our activity count, which is usually fundraise money, would be drill writers, percussion instructors, color guard choreographers. And that is an overwhelmingly larger amount than just the music itself. So, my drill writer that I go to charges me about $1,300 a year. My drumline instructor is about $2,000 a year, and then I have a frontline instructor that's about $1,000 to $1,500 a year, and then color guard choreography can be anywhere from $5,000 to $1,000, depending on how much time they give. So if you do all that math, again, the $1,250 for marching band music is quite a drop in the bucket. So that's kind of you add up everything else, that would be fundraised stuff that we would have to raise outside of the curriculum.
And that's because we choose not to charge our students an activity fee to cover these things. And I completely agree with that and understand that. There are other schools that charge anywhere from $100 to $1,000 to cover these costs, charge the members of the ensembles this, and we don't do that here. I agree with that, but we've got to, if we're not going to do that, then to be competitive, we do have to find funds.
These are functions, though, that we can't have a show without, though, right? Correct. So,
But this isn't intended to be comprehensive, is it? This is curriculum adoption.
Yep, so.
The other is separate.
Excellent point. And I'm really appreciative of like the ongoing conversation because I think that it's a layered issue in the respect of this is where we're asking for the instructional materials, and when we come to talk about staffing, it's probably an HR conversation and just a larger, probably Michael and Jeff conversation too about seeing how best to support those additional staff to then alleviate those activity accounts or those booster account funds. Yeah, but we were talking about setting at the top of our like music purchase, and so Jason, do you have something to add to the mic?
I'd say probably this year that was probably pretty close to what we spent for music, but we didn't go out and hire like an arranger and that kind of thing. It can definitely, we probably were at the bottom end as far as like a competitive marching band as far as what we spent on music for that. So I mean, going up some would give us more flexibility to be depending on the year and, you know, the strengths and weaknesses of our students and that kind of thing. So it would give us more flexibility for sure.
would it be possible maybe to benchmark the other UEN schools to see where we're at? I mean, not necessarily to you, but I mean to Travis, maybe we can benchmark against the other UENs to see how the other comparable districts are. How they're funding and what kind of spending level?
What I've learned from kind of conversations is that the money, it really just depends on what has already been created and how things have been going based on who's paying for what and in what ways. I can do some more digging to give us a more holistic picture. I can't speak to anything of that at this time, though.
Yeah, just curious what the comparable districts are doing for their programs, just for a comparison's sake. So,
for sure.
This has all changed so much also because once upon a time before ASCAP and before copyright, band directors could just, write it down on sheets of music and do it from the radio or from, recordings. But now that we have all these laws that are in place about copyright and stuff, there are people that go around to different performances and will fine you if you haven't bought the rights to this music. So it's much, much, much more expensive than it used to be.
And Iowa's been hit hard with Tresona and friends coming for such arrangements being copyright infringement. Yeah.
Another way things have really changed is before you could buy your music and then 10 years later you could use that again. And now kind of the practice is you buy the rights, kind of like a musical right there. You can use that one time. And next time you want to use that show, you'd have to buy the rights again, which for that show.
You still have your choreography, but you'd have to get the rights for your.
You have to pay again. It's just making money.
Right.
Can someone also speak to the music first? How that's different than the smart music? Like what that's going to be used for?
Yeah, I've used it for the past couple of years. And one of the things that I love about it is that it's kind of like a Google Classroom for music. Okay. We can have assignments. There's lots of sight reading, which is something I utilize a ton with my students. There are also a lot of method books and full band books and literature that's already on there, kind of like smart music, but we can manage it a lot more like as in a classroom. There's also ways that the kids, they can record themselves. There's just so many ways that you can embed that in your classroom. A lot more bells and whistles than smart music, and it's also more geared towards high school. I mean, it's more accessible in high school, and smart music is, I would say, a little bit more of a middle school beginning band program for that. But and it's developing more and more, and a lot more literature on there. And
smart music was really only used during like shutdown, right? Like during COVID.
I think they had it before then too.
Smart Music, we only had teacher subscriptions for, so they would use it in the classroom, and now they're using it to actually have students do activities more directed outside of school.
Okay. Oh. I mean, I'd
Um,
only heard of it when my kid was at home
Yep.
recording in her bedroom.
Yep.
So,
I remember it back in the day where like I had to insert a floppy disk and I had to like hit a pedal to make my solo play. Little sixth grade Travis.
is
That's when I was an undergrad.
is 210 going to be enough for 8 years? I know our numbers fluctuate a lot, but
We can add seats as we go.
okay.
Yep.
If our numbers get beyond that, we can add seats.
And where that might get a little dicey is just at the end, like year 7, year 8, if we've seen a big boom, then we're just going to have to adjust and determine where those funds might come from. Because I think we have seen a reemergence of the programs. They're steadily rebuilding, and so I see those numbers going up. But we pay for all those seats up front, and then we get to use those seats in advance, so to speak.
Okay, here's my thoughts. If you add up the 17 and the 38 and the 4, you end up with 61. And then if you take 3,500 times 8, that's 28. So that's 89. So I guess I would be in favor of a motion to purchase high school music for an 8-year period for a total of $90,000.
That works for me.
Thanks for working that amendment out.
Well, this is what Pam had kind of come up with at the to the curriculum purchase for high school instrumental music at a cost of $60,978.80, plus an annual purchase of up to, and we could do that 3,500 or 4,000 for 8 years, so that we wouldn't be locking in all the curriculum for the 8 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but it's being marketed as an 8-year bundle, so in 2 years, I don't think it would be right to say we're going to abandon that and go with something else. So I think we do need to lock it into the 8 years.
Okay. So,
I'm saying 35. I'm just saying 90,000 for the package. Most of it's going to be
90,000 for everything.
most of it's going to be spent up front, the 38 and the 4 and the 17, right? And then it's up to them to manage the account to make it last.
Yep.
I'm for that.
do do you have it here? Oh, Lyle, if you want to read your motion again, and then we need to have Stacy and Jesse agree to a friendly amendment, please.
Read the original motion or?
Your motion,
Okay.
please.
I move the Board of Education approve the curriculum purchase for high school instrumental music as outlined for an 8-year period totaling $90,000.
So moved.
Do you agree? Jesse agrees and
I
Stacy has a
agree.
second. Agree. Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. So thank you all
Wait,
very much.
Can we just meet the person who didn't speak? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to
didn't
say,
get
poor orchestra person
Yeah.
just got trampled by marching band people, which is, kind of
Hi,
funny.
I'm Kyle Giese, orchestra teacher at East.
And I was just going to ask, I mean, it doesn't anything to motion, how is enrollment in each of your programs this second semester?
Growing.
Or total.
Recovering from a global pandemic.
Yeah.
So I don't double check your number. Oh, I didn't label them well. I know, I'm just having a struggle. We're down there. West High Band, currently at 88 is what I have. That might be less. I pulled it from Infinite Campus, and we know how the system can be. And then for band at East, we have 68 right now. Orchestra at West is 57. Is that an accurate number for you?
Closer to 40.
40. So we're
Perfect.
seeing some growth after the 2020-2021 school year and the 21-22 school year, we've had some changes in staff, and we've definitely had Kyle is now full-time at East. He was doing some shared work at Carver and Bunger, just trying to build those numbers. And we're just seeing the upward trend.
It's going to take longer than shorter because of, it's going to take it a while to come up through the snake because, you know, the kids that did beginning band and beginning orchestra remotely are still coming up through the system, and they didn't get the same education as the kids sitting in ensembles would have got. So it's going to take us a long time in all of our programs, I'm sure sports and stuff too, to overcome what happened with the pandemic.
Buy-in too was hard for them. You know?
Absolutely.
So what were the approximate numbers prior to pandemic?
Prior, band at East was roughly 60. Between 50 and 60. Orchestra was about 30, so we're gaining anywhere from 5 to 10. West High Band, we, COVID hit us hard. Yep, 150 was what we had pre-COVID, and then we went down to 88, and we're steadily rebuilding around 88, 90. Orchestra was down to 46, and now it's up to 57 at West.
So the only one really that's down is the West High Band. The others are comparable, if I'm reading you correctly, to what they were.
Or even a little higher, the East Band, 68. Good work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for all the time and the hours.
Yeah. The next item on our agenda would be item H, which is on page 26, and this is purchase of vape detectors for our high schools. We have Zach Kelly here to talk to us about it, and the superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education approve the quote from Electronic Engineering to purchase the Hallow Smart Sensor 2C vape detectors at a cost of $127,516.06.
So move. Second.
And Zach, go ahead. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This has been a hot topic throughout the district, vape detectors, and I think the building principals in the high schools have expressed their feelings about it as well. It not only is safety for the buildings, because it does do aggression, these vape detectors. It'll detect gunshot and gunshot muzzle, CO2 detection, also the health. It detects the vape detection. So I reached out to 2 vendors, and I did ask for references for each one of other school districts that have used this in the past. I talked with them, and they had mentioned that they've had good success with this. Students have gotten creative and found out ways to kind of trick the system, I guess you would call it, but overall it's been very successful. There are some bathrooms that require more than one vape detector just due to the size. The best height is 8 to 9 feet to get the correct readings from the vape detectors. So we have done business with Electronic Engineering in the past. We get all of our radios through them. Tri-City, we also, more so the technology department uses Tri-City, but they've been involved in a couple of our buildings.
So what involvement has the staff had at these buildings?
Yep, good question. So originally we did a demo with Tri-City. They came and brought the device in, told all about it between all 4 schools, which is East, Expo, West, and the WCC. So each building principal was there during that demonstration. They got to see what they would be up against. Each device, there's multiple settings that you can do as far as decibels with aggression. So if kids are yelling, you can adjust those decibel levels, and it'll trigger to either a silent trigger, which goes to a phone or email, and those are basically the building principals can decide who gets those notifications. So they seemed really happy and good to move forward with it, so that was their involvement in that.
So that's the monitoring of them then? Could you explain the process of the monitoring?
Yeah, yep, so this is through a cloud version, so basically anything, if you have access to the internet, you can type up that IP address for that specific device, and it'll show the monitoring of each vape detection, aggression, but it also, you can get notifications on your phone, like I had mentioned, or email. It also integrates with our camera system that we have, Exact Vision. So if it does come across an aggression or a vape detection, it'll come up on the camera software that we have, and it'll start recording instantly. So then it'll see the students coming out, and it'll give the timestamp of that as well.
What is considered an aggression for the aggression detection?
Yeah, so it's basically loud noises, and that's where I said they can change those decibel levels. So we have access to that. It's not like we have to call the company and change those. That's probably where Matt O'Brien's department would get a level involved. And one of their guys was there during the demo as well, so he knew what he would be up against. But I could be talking like this, and it could set off, so that's where we would set that decibel level a little higher, so it wouldn't trigger unless somebody's yelling or doors are slamming in the bathroom.
So is there sensitivity settings for other than noise?
Correct. Yep, and that's the parts per million for the vape detection, that you can adjust those sensitivities. There has been the question of if somebody's using deodorant spray, will that trigger the system? No, it won't. As time goes by, the system kind of learns, adapts to the environment, is what I was told from the vendor. So,
Could this pick up like beginning of a fight even with the noise level?
yep, yes, and that's.
Would that trigger the camera too?
Yep, yep, and there's different settings, so like I said, each event, they call it, you can have the vape detector go off an alarm, or you can just have it silent. There's a tamper detection, so if a kid tries to swap the device,
That was mine too.
it'll go off, whether it's a silent or an audible, which we can, once again, set that ourselves.
So who will be monitoring this?
That'll be between the building principal, that'll be monitoring it, and then if they need additional support as far as setting those sensitivity levels, that's when the IT department is involved. And we're kind of also walking through those steps too of policy on these vape detectors. Dan Huff is reaching out to Des Moines Community Valley, I believe it's called, to see what they have for their policies put in place for this.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Otherwise,
So it's kind
The
of
whole
across
day is
the
good.
board.
Yeah, I think it
it's all
could
the
be
same.
overwhelming for the principal, just, I mean, the
Just
amount
to-
of detection and the aggression showing up
Well, and it-
besides other jobs. I mean,
right,
there
and
would have to be.
even if it's not aggression, I mean, some of us are just exuberant talkers, so.
Would it be up to the building principal to designate that responsibility, maybe to the campus safety? Or would
Yeah.
it be?
Yeah, those are kinds of things that we'll kind
They'll
of
work
work with,
through,
because
yeah.
we want it kind of the same across the board between
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
buildings.
We-
Otherwise, we just run into issues of being consistent.
I mean, we have time here because it's going to be a while to get them here and get them installed. So at the same time, we could be developing
We could write
the policy on the rest of it as we're in parallel to waiting on parts
Well,
of the
and with
life.
the addition of our campus safety monitors, like hopefully floor to floor, they're saying, you could have this campus safety monitor on this floor monitors this. I mean, all that could be
So
established.
is it within the system capability that who's ever monitoring it initially, it's easy to maybe push one button, escalate that up to a predetermined additional level, and and on up until
Yeah,
till it
and
shows
that-
up on the principal's office that said, hey, this is kind of a big deal, you need to take care of it. I mean, timeliness becomes really important, so the ease of doing that becomes important, that you don't have to run to somebody else's office. So, is that within the system capability, or is
Yep.
that up to Matt to kind of develop that?
Nope, that's within the system that
Okay.
building admins would be able to do that. That's what both vendors expressed. The first week or two, it's going to be a little of a annoyance, I guess you would call it, and just until we get those tweaked to where they're working to their fullest ability.
And a lot of it can be actually be tied into any type of camera systems too, so.
And everything is the challenge at the beginning anyway, so I think that's expected, so.
I'm just wanting it to be more automatic than
Yeah, I think it can be automatically triggered the cameras. If we need to
requiring
record,
someone to
whatever.
take some action. They might not be at the screen at that moment, and et cetera.
Yep.
But I just wanted to add that this is part of our safety initiative in our buildings. I know that we have concerns about that, and it is our goal to keep every student safe, and I think this is just a layer to add additional safety to try to prevent things prior to becoming major incidents and to prevent kids from doing things they're not supposed to be doing. So I think it's a good addition to the safety layers that we're adding.
Yeah, I'm kind of blown away by everything it does. Like, this is, it's pretty cool. It's a little Big Brother, but it's pretty cool. So, so the 911, is that something that will activate or no?
So that's more of it doesn't activate 911 to a dispatch. It's basically, there's
alerts.
keywords that you can pick from, and I can't think of the keywords. There's 6 of them off the top of my head that you can choose from, like help needed. And then the vape detector detects that and sends that notification to any smart device that has access to that.
Well, yeah, if you're getting beat up in the, not that happens, but I mean, let's say there's a fight in the bathroom. It's a good idea. It is. This is cool. This is very cool.
And there won't be, well, I mean, we can't say this, but the possibility of kids hacking into this?
I can't speak for that directly. That'd be more Matt's department, but I believe it goes in with our cameras, so it's pretty tough to hack into. They are hardwired directly into the network. It's nothing wireless.
Oh, great.
So that should
because we have lots of smart kids that can
we
can
keep
break codes.
And we're teaching them to be smarter.
So if there's a failure of, if there's no electricity, do these things still work?
So they are run off of PoE, so power over Ethernet. So basically, Matt's equipment's run off of battery backup. So once it's exceeded that time, if there is a power outage, then yeah, the devices would power off.
All right, we good with our vapor purchase? All right, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. We will keep Zach up here again, and we are now going to be discussing the bid approval for Sloan Wallace Stadium, Irving Elementary Playground. The superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education accept the recommendation from ISG Architects and approve the Sloan Wallace Stadium Park Irving Elementary Playground project bid to Baker Enterprises, Inc. as presented as a cost of $1,036,218, which includes the base bid with allowances 1 and 2 without alternate A or B.
So moved.
Second.
And discussion.
Alrighty, well, this is a new one for us, I believe. I reached out to Michael when he was with us. If we've ever used Baker in the past, he has never stated that we have, but just kind of an overall scheme of the project. This would include the bus lane on the east end of Irving, which they currently do not have, and Zach Zimmerman, the principal, has expressed huge concern for that, so he would be very happy to move forward on that. This also does include south of Irving and I would say a quarter of the Sloan Wallace property of a playground area that would have the pour-and-play surface almost exactly of what Lowell Elementary has currently. This does include a kind of kick into the drop-off lane out front of Irving Elementary as well. There was that alternate A, which was on the west side, that it was more of a want than a need. So that's why we decided to not go with option A and just do the base and the allowances.
So the allowance for the playground equipment and the playground servicing, is that managed, will that be managed separately by you, or does that come under Baker's? Will that be assigned to Baker?
That'll be coming under Baker, assigned
So
to.
who will be selecting the equipment though?
The equipment will be our standard that we go to, which is Miracle. Most
Okay.
all of our equipment has gone to that. We go through a procurement process with that, so.
And the same with the surfacing?
Correct. Yep, they do that as well. So that's all done through Boland Recreation.
So why is it an allowance and not a bid?
I'll let Landon with ISG speak to that.
So as part of that, it was selected to be with Bolin as an allowance, so that way they don't have. Baker still has a responsibility of making sure that work gets done under their contract, which is why it was an allowance, but they didn't have the ability to submit ad alternates, if that makes sense. So that way you guys had the Boland and consistency with those products as you had at Lowell. Does that make sense?
Maybe. I think you're saying that the district selects the equipment and the surface.
Yes. Yep. So you selected that, and then basically as an allowance, that became assumed responsibility, or will become assumed responsibility as part of their contract in terms of making sure that work gets performed.
So we don't know the cost of that.
We do know the cost, and that's why it was an allowance. But it's just kind of the cost got shuffled to them as an allowance, if that makes sense.
So this allowance is a firm number.
Yes.
Okay.
And what are we doing to hold them accountable for the completion? We would like to have that, obviously done before school starts in August. And, we don't want something to happen like we've had previously, that contractors haven't done what they were committed to. So do we have a,
Yep, we have a liquidated damages clause in that contract. I'd have to look to see what that exact dollar amount, I don't know off the top of my head, but there is a liquidated damages clause in that.
Great. I couldn't think what that word was. So thank you. Liquidated.
I guess I would just comment, the amount of those damages is important, because if you have liquidated damages, it's a license for the contractor to delay at a specific cost.
Correct. I mean,
So
it's
it has to be fairly significant, or it becomes actually just another means of the contractor adjusting their work, maybe to our disadvantage, but to their advantage.
So I guess if we could be provided, did facilities people see that, or?
The allowance you're talking about,
Yeah.
Sue? No, I don't think it was specific into that.
Okay.
All right, I'm okay with it, but
Okay.
just saying that.
Yep.
The damage, liquidated damages isn't necessarily,
A protector that you think it might be.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll check and provide that with Zach, and he can provide it to us?
Yep, I can do that.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan. Okay. Any other questions? All in favor then, approving? State aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is item J, and that is funding for the 23-24 at-risk programs. And Michael Coughlin obviously has presented it to us, and the superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education authorize the district's administration to submit a request to the School Budget Review Committee, SBRC, in the amount of $3,955,688 for modified supplemental amount, MSA, for the purpose of funding district at-risk programming for 23-24.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and does anyone have specific questions? I think this is just, we're requesting to the SBRC to cover the costs of these additional programs that we
Getting
have.
permission to do it.
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily mean what
Yep.
we do.
Okay. Okay, so everybody read through it and is good with it? Perfect. All right, good job, Michael. Thank you so much, and all in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Okay, our next item is Exhibit K, and this is policy first reading, and this is information only, but it is 3 policies, and we will turn this over to Pam Arndorfer.
Thank you. So some of you may have questioned, typically we do not include regulations or exhibits. Those typically go through policy review and get directly adopted. The reason those are on here is because there's just been discussion surrounding dress codes, so thought you guys would be interested in seeing what that regulation looks like as well as what the exhibit looks like. So we won't be bringing those back for second reading. This is just more information for you to take a look at. And then gifts to the district, 701.9 has quite a few changes on there. So if you have questions, I can do my best to answer them. Otherwise, we will take questions and get some clarification from Michael. He said we can get him on the phone if we need to tonight.
I just was wondering, the crowdfunding, is that like the GoFundMe pages somewhat, or, people Googling, the Google whatever to get things for your classroom? Is that what that is?
Right. A lot of the discussion in policy was, they talked a lot about like Amazon, wish list, that type of thing. Kind of what we're trying to do is centralize it so that it's one location where this type of thing can be purchased through. DonorsChoose.org is the organization. So that is what this is all relating to. And then also one of the other things that they really wanted to bring to light was just making sure that staff especially is aware that anything that is purchased for district classroom use belongs to the district. It does not. So if somebody goes out on their personal page, does an Amazon wish list, but they're buying it for their classroom, it remains with the classroom should that teacher leave.
And how is that distinguished? Let's say a teacher wants like something big for their classroom, and they purchase it, but with their own money, let's say.
Right. If it's with their own money, then it's theirs.
Okay.
Because I asked that exact question. I said, so my daughter goes in, wants to decorate her classroom or take something in. Yes, that's hers. But if they're purchasing and especially soliciting funds through like a crowdsourcing, crowdfunding type of organization, that is district property.
To everybody that worked on the dress code and the exhibit, this is really, really well done.
Aqui's department did an amazing job on that exhibit.
It's very.
The foundation, I think that explained that pretty good too, that the teachers go through the foundation, so, perfect. All right, thank you for presenting that. So now we are on to Exhibit L, and this is, the superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education approve the settlement agreement, no, we're still up here, okay. That the Board of Education go into closed session pursuant Iowa Code Chapter 21.51C to discuss strategy with counsel in a matter presently in litigation. We will return to open session after, okay. We will return to open session after our discussions. 6:50, and we are returning back to open session. So, just wanted to finish off our meeting tonight with the superintendent's report.
Yeah, quite honestly, I don't have too much. What I wrote down was tomorrow is our next round of the Be Bold Awards. And I mean, we've really embraced Aqui sitting back there. We've really upped our emphasis on the Be Bold. You've probably seen some of the social media, just some really cool visuals that are going around. So tomorrow, it's like one of my favorite things. Once a month we go around and we honor people who've gone above and beyond and really embraced the bold award, the bold idea, the concept for our district. So we have not announced those names yet. So tomorrow, how many buildings is it tomorrow? Do you remember?
There are five
buildings.
for
Oh, yeah.
January, plus we're making up one from December, so 6 tomorrow.
6. So cool. So you will see the winners tomorrow.
And those are all employee nominated.
Yes, very cool. So that's it from me.
Okay. Well, let's start with Stacy tonight.
I was just going to give a quick update on equity committee meeting. We had two folks come from AA who walked us through how to look at the numbers that are on and now I didn't write it down, and hopefully someone can help me with what it's called, the site, the state site that shows us all of our numbers.
DOE, Department of Ed.
School performance profile, which is on the DE site.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that thing. So that was really cool to go through it, and it would be, I think it'd be a really good thing for us as a board to look at. You were still in there. It's great to look at, and it was pretty eye-opening and in a lot of good and ways to look at improvement. So, and we were looking at it through the lens of where we need to focus on equity as well. So there's a lot of layers to it, and yeah, that's it. Okay, thanks.
All right, well, I have one thing on my mind today, and that is Saturday we are hosting the NBC wrestling tournament at West High, and we will not host that again for another 15 years.
Wow.
Because it's kind of unique that we had it in 2017, and when the conference kind of did a reset when East left the conference, and so we ended up with it. So we will have a very busy Saturday. Anybody wants to come watch or volunteer, we will find opportunities. So
where's that?
We'll be here all day long. Like I said, 4 mats down and 15 teams. So
okay. I think I can volunteer, so I'll give you my
I'm sure
info.
concessions or somebody could use. I'm sure somewhere.
I could hit somebody with the towel. No, I'm not.
Oh, we're getting away from that. Now they have little watches that
good.
that go off on the wrist whenever the clocks go out.
That's
So
neat.
pretty fancy.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah. Now we'll go to Astor, please.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Janelle.
Congratulations to Aqui. I heard about you on NPR IPR this morning about your conversations project. Was it conversations? Correspondence, yes, and I was very excited to hear about that. Thanks to Travis, who did a great job tonight, and to Joelle, Jason, and Kyle for being here. Thanks to the board for being supportive and understanding the escalating costs of the activity, the music activity. Thanks for all that, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Lyle.
I visited Central Middle School. All seems to be going really well. Couple comments on the classrooms and the bullpen. That there was a couple noise issues, but that they all said they're adapting and they're modifying a little bit to reduce that. The people in the upstairs classrooms are absolutely delighted of the new classroom. So I think that's going to bode well for us in the long term. That's great. The other thing is I want to thank the speakers, and I think we need to listen and act. I find that.
Agreed. And I also wanted to say that, with the Be Bold, I think maybe we could have some Be be changeable and be really recognize the staff at Central, because that's a big thing to move your entire classroom. And so something we could recognize the Central staff, I think, would be resilient, and that's hard to do. So especially mid-year. And also I wanted to let the speaker tonight know that we are addressing the situation. It is precarious, but safety is of utmost importance to our schools, and we want kids to feel safe at school. We hear you, we understand that, and we are working on it, and we know that there's a lot of frustration there, and we all are strong advocates for our own children, which we should be. So I do appreciate her coming. I also wanted to mention that if you have the desire or feel led to contact your state representative and legislatures, because the voucher bill is going before the Senate, I believe, and the the Senate this week. So if you have the opportunity to express your thoughts on that, our public also, I think that our job is to advocate for educating all children. So I would appreciate that. And with that, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.